Well, welcome back. I'm here with Allie Swanson. She is the new Miss Nebraska 2019.
Yay!
Allie, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for having me. I'm really excited to be here.
So when was the big night? Not too long ago.
Yeah, 2 weeks ago.
Okay, I was going to say.
So it's fresh. It's fresh and new.
You're very, yeah. So tell me, okay, before I get into the questions, tell me just a little bit about you, where you're from and all that good stuff.
So born and raised right here in Omaha.
Okay.
I was a graduate of Millard North High School in 2013. So I was the oldest contestant going for Miss Nebraska this year. So I kind of felt like a mama bear to a lot of the other girls.
Right.
I'm a graduate of Evangel University, which is in Springfield, Missouri. I played basketball there for 4 years. I was a two-time All-American athlete and a Scholar All-American. And then I moved back here to Omaha after I graduated, and now I'm a graduate student at Bellevue University studying organizational leadership and executive coaching.
Okay.
And I know that's a mouthful, but
it is. But I'm gonna just, when you were growing up, like what were things that you loved to do when you were growing up?
Definitely music. So I come from an extremely musical family. I actually play 7 instruments.
Are you serious?
I'm not kidding.
What are they?
Electric guitar, acoustic guitar, piano, upright bass because I played in orchestra. Then I taught myself electric bass. Then I played trumpet in band and marching band. And then I sing. And I play a lot of like smaller instruments, but I kind of count all of that in one, so 7.
Oh my gosh. Okay, that's amazing. I always love to look at a person's life, like when they were a child, and kind of what they love to do. I look at that on my own, within my own self, and kind of see where your life takes you and how sometimes those things from childhood kind of start to blend in to your life. So anyway, I always love to ask those questions.
Well, I love answering those questions. That's one of the best things about competing for Miss Nebraska for me is getting to do talent. And the fact that this year it's the biggest percentage of your score was huge for me because I love performing, I love singing.
What did you do? I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. I did a vocal and I actually sang a Whitney Houston song against the advice of a lot of people. I was like, no, this is like my bread and butter. It's what I grew up on. I love singing.
Which one?
Gospel music and soul music. I sang, I'm singing I Have Nothing for Miss America, but I sang Run to You for Miss Nebraska.
Yeah.
And it was just perfect. I was totally authentic in everything that I sang.
Yeah, and what an experience. I mean, so the competition took place, was it Grand Island?
North Platte.
North Platte, okay, North Platte. So, and how many young women were a part of the competition?
So it was 13 this year, which is a little bit lower number than in past years, but we have a big wave of candidates coming in at the local level. So we anticipate a bigger boom for Miss Nebraska next year, which is really exciting. That means more scholarships for the girls, better sponsors and everything. So 13 was the number that I competed against in North Platte, but we had a packed house for the 2 nights of preliminaries and the final night, and it was just such a rush. It was a great experience.
So why did you decide to do this? I mean, what inspired you to do this?
So I was an athlete my whole life. Like I said, I played basketball and I've never been into pageants. I always make the joke after college I had to use a makeup lesson to even turn this into what you see today. And so basically my sister asked me, if you don't do it, are you going to regret it? And I said yes, and that was my initial jump into, my first local was the Miss Omaha pageant, which I was fortunate to win on the first time, and I placed top 5 at Miss Nebraska last year, which was my first time doing anything.
Right.
But a lot of people, some people know this in the pageant world and other people don't, but my sister was actually Miss Nebraska 2014. So we're the first 2 sisters ever to both hold the Miss Nebraska title.
Who's your sister?
Megan Swanson.
Okay.
So she was Miss Nebraska, 2014. So we'll both be going to Miss America, and it's crazy.
Yeah. Okay, so what does it mean to you to be Miss Nebraska?
It is such an honor, honestly. So my platform is Cyber Smarts, protecting yourself in the digital world.
Yeah.
And one of my main partners, I actually believe you've interviewed on this show before.
Amy?
Yes, Amy Conway.
Smart girl?
Love her, right?
Yeah. Okay.
So I've worked there for a year and a half. And so I am going to thoroughly enjoy spreading that message across the state of Nebraska, just under a new umbrella and a new level of authority with this shiny
And for
hat.
people that don't know what that message is, talk to me about the message.
Yeah, so social media and digital media safety. Obviously, we live in a digital age, and parents are kind of freaking out. Kids are in a whole new world that's new to a lot of people. And those privacy and safety concerns on those specific social media apps are so important to talk about because there's a lot of issues going on with this next generation, even younger than me, because I'm a young millennial. And even some of the girls that I was competing against are technically a different generation than me, which is kind of weird to think about.
It is.
But we're in a whole new time of digital technology, and talking about that safety aspect of it is so important.
because you're literally, I mean, when I was younger, there was none of that. And I'm actually really happy that there was none of that, because I was a very adventurous young teenager, and that you're able to communicate with people not just down the street, but around the city, around the country, around the world. And there's some people out there that are not so nice.
Yeah, and I would say too, what I've seen from the research that Smart Gen Society has done, which is now the new name of Smart Girl Society.
Okay, all right, awesome.
But SGS has done, and a couple other national leaders, we've seen that technology really has had an impact on that interpersonal communication of this next generation. And although it can add dexterous movement, and like different parts of the brain are forming now that they didn't before. So there's pros and cons of technology, obviously. It aids for communication, but that loss of interpersonal communication skills is scary for older generations. Like, you need that for a job interview, to function in society. And so it's, where do we come in to present that balance? And that's kind of where my platform comes in.
All right, that's awesome. So talk about the scholarships you won and how important is a scholarship program, because that's a really big piece of this as well.
Absolutely. So the Miss America organization is actually the largest giver of women's scholarships in the whole country, and a lot of people don't know that.
I did not know that.
Yeah, and so I'm very fortunate enough to say that because of the Miss America organization, I'm coming out of college completely debt-free with my master's program, and plus some. So I might go get a master's and a half, or start my doctorate because of these scholarships. And I wouldn't have had that opportunity without participating in this program. And that's just my story, but candidates all around the country in different states also share those same values. And so for this year, I won $12,000 towards my master's degree, which is gonna help pay for the rest of it. And like I said, add some to the end of it, whatever I choose to put that money towards, which is really exciting.
That is really exciting. So how can women get involved? I mean, get involved in the organization itself? Yeah.
So our website, missnebraska.org, has a lot of that information. So you actually have to win a local to compete at Miss Nebraska.
Okay.
And we have some coming up. So July 6th is Miss Swedish Days. It is in Holdridge, Nebraska, and that's our first kickoff local. And we'll have girls from all around the state competing for that title of Miss Swedish Days. And so those locals are almost every weekend in July. So if people want more information on how to sign up, they can just go to missnebraska.org.
And what does local mean? Like local in your community? I mean, there has to be thousands of communities in Nebraska. So what does that?
Yes, good question. So the local pageant is kind of a mini Miss Nebraska. So you compete in the exact same areas of competition: interview, talent, on-stage question, and then evening gown, social impact statement, which are the 4 areas that I competed in. And so it's a smaller model at that local level. We'll have candidates from all over Nebraska competing in different cities for different titles. And we just call them local. So it's kind of the first step to the candidates that you see on stage.
And this question, I mean, again, giving these, what's your message to Nebraska?
Yeah, I actually got this question in my interview, which interview is my favorite portion because it's 10 minutes long. You get the judges are drilling you with questions, and I'm like, I'm so prepared for this. Like you get to see me. And my message to Nebraska is I just want women to be authentic and empowered in the way that they were made. Obviously, I'm 6'2", and
you're tall.
I'm very tall, right? And I love when people comment on my height, want to take pictures with me just because I'm a giantess, right? Or whatever they say. But I haven't always had that view of myself. I was 6 feet tall in 8th grade as a 13-year-old. So being literally heads and shoulders taller than other people, that affected how I viewed myself. I kind of went through this identity process. And so now when I tell my story, when I go and speak into schools, it's not only on the Cyber Smarts message on how to stay safe online, but it's really just being authentic. So we can use technology to be authentically you while staying safe. And if I can produce a safer Nebraska, then I've done my job.
Yeah. And also I'll just kind of tag on to, in addition to the safe in Nebraska, is just being you. I mean, you're this beautiful being that God gave you, and regardless of height, weight, whatever is going on in your physical appearance, is just being able to show up and being confident and loving yourself as you are. So
That's a big staple too of the Miss America organization.
Yeah.
And with the removal of swimsuit last year, that's really where we're going towards. We see women of all shapes and sizes. I'm so encouraged by the other state title holders that I get to compete against. You know, I'm sure we've all creeped on each other's social media of like,
right.
who is she? You know, I can't wait to meet her.
Right.
But I'm seeing people with different hair colors, different body types, different, you know, different sizes. Their platforms are all different. And that just goes to show we're really going to have that impact on America in so many different levels.
And that diversity level.
Yes,
yeah.
it's so important, and it's really encouraging, honestly, to have that lens.
Yeah. Well, Allie, your energy is infectious. I'm so happy that we're able to have this conversation together. And congratulations.
Thank you.
And I mean, good luck to you in your journey, you know, in life.
Thank you so much. You know, they haven't announced the date for Miss America yet. All we know is it's going to be on NBC. So as soon as they do, I'm sure we will blast it out on social media channels. So that'll be the next step for me.
All right. Awesome. Thank you again, Allie, for
Thanks
joining
so
me.
much.
You're welcome. And we will be right back.